a camera up top, and it was miserable.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it was horrible. All right, let's do this. What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Press X Podcast, episode 111, your weekly podcast for gaming news and opinions coming at you each and every Monday. I am Kevin McManus. With me, Nick Hassell.
That's a lot of ones.
Todd Broussard.
Hello.
Yeah, I wanted to do something with Fallout 4, because that's like the vault you're in or whatever in Fallout 4, but I don't care enough. So,
Did you even play that game?
No.
Okay.
Makes
sense why you
that's why I don't care. So I was like, I don't feel like doing that. But I've seen people walking around with the sweatshirt that's got like the 111 and the blue and the yellow. I'm like, that's a pretty cool sweatshirt.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Cool game.
Yeah.
Not
but
bad.
I wasn't going to order a sweatshirt for the show.
You'll like it in VR
Oh, yeah.
when it eventually hits.
Yeah.
PSVR.
I imagine probably next holiday, like Christmassy time, we'll be getting the Fallout VR, so that'll be cool. I'd rather have Fallout 3 VR, though.
I'd rather have Oblivion VR.
That's I don't think that's far off. All right, so let's hop in with the what we've been playing. Todd, I'm going to start with you.
I picked up Injustice a little bit ago on Steam.
Injustice 2
Yeah, Injustice 2.
for the turtles mainly, right?
Oh, yeah.
Would you have bought it if the turtles weren't in it?
Yeah, maybe.
All right, you
Maybe.
convinced me.
I like the other DLC characters, but I didn't like the base game. They had a bunch of balance issues when it came out, and there just wasn't a lot of characters I was into. They took out some sweet ones from the first game.
I always loved the first Injustice first Evo, where the top 8 was all Batman and Supermans, and everybody was just booing the Superman players because they all just zoned people, and that's not what he's supposed to be good at, but that's what he was good at, and that was great.
Yeah, that was definitely lame. But yeah, I've enjoyed it a lot, and I might have bought it. I'm a big Hellboy fan too, so I've had a lot of fun playing him.
Yeah.
But been playing some of that. Been playing some Overwatch since they had their New Year's update, so they got all kinds of new skins and emotes and shit that came out. So been having fun with that, and I've been playing some Street Fighter, getting ready for Blanca to come out next week. Exciting week next week.
That's what you keep telling me. I don't believe you, but that's what you keep saying. You also started Fortnite.
Oh, yeah.
We got the crossplay Fortnite going.
We did.
It's fine. I like the crossplay stuff.
Yeah, it's fun.
Except when you're playing squads and the other team is just all PC players, because it's very obvious. They are much faster at doing everything than you. That's kind of miserable. So part of me wishes you could just toggle it off for whenever you're playing not with the PC players, and then if you want to play with the PC players, toggle it on and get your buddies.
I wasn't expecting there to be such a big learning curve to the game. I understand how the game works, but to do the building cohesively and it's the strategy that everybody follows for the game. Yeah. Once you're in a certain range, you switch to the shotgun and the double pump shotgun stuff. And when you get shot, you build the corner walls and the ramp. And there's all that stuff, keeping certain items, prioritizing other ones. All that stuff is in the game. And that's all things that you kind of learn. There's a lot of there's a lot more micromanaging than I thought there was going to be.
Yeah, there definitely is.
Wasn't expecting that, but it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my favorite game, but if you weren't playing it with me, I definitely wouldn't be playing it. But I'm having fun with it.
Yeah, the micro controls get even more complex when you jump into PUBG. So if you
I played some PUBG.
Yeah,
wasn't a fan for the same reasons.
Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Nick? What have you been doing?
I have mostly been watching stuff this week because I kind of played Shadow of the Colossus and I was just that was pristine gaming, and I just kind of had to relax after that. I was just soak it in. Had a good time with it.
I was excited everybody finally got all those coins because I was curious what they were about.
Yeah,
because I didn't know if I wanted to do it or not.
Well, also I didn't want to be
not.
I didn't want to be the guy to take up the helm and try to find it. That's not my thing. Yeah. I don't care about being the first to find something like that.
That's fair.
Meant to play Okami, but got sidetracked because a game that I'd kind of been looking forward to for about a year now went on early access on Steam a couple weeks ago, and I finally remembered it, and it went on sale by, I think, 30% discount, I think, this week, and it's called Laser League. And what Laser League is, basically, it's an arena combat game, but if you think Tron, mixed with, a little bit of, Rocket League-esque elements. Obviously, you're not in a car, and you're not jumping around shooting a soccer ball, but it's sort of the same mechanics, and, fast-paced, 3v3, 4v4, 2v2, whatever you want to do sort of thing. So I got that and got into it and played it all day today. Just took over my life. I think I was late meeting up with Todd. Surprised I made it here in time. It just took over. And basically how the game ended up being is that there's 6 classes in it. So it's very complex for just a mindless arena combat game that you just kind of play with your friends. Basically, it's got, they call it the Smash class, but it's like an assault class. You got a shield dude. You got a ghost class, which is the medic, and you can fly through all the lasers and all the stuff, all the traps in the games and stuff like that. There's Thief, who can turn lasers and stuff on each other and just basically set up the traps. There's a Sniper. There's like an AoE shot guy, and there's also if you think Genji from Overwatch, a guy with a blade, something like that. So basically what the gameplay is like is there's all these little posts and setups in the game, and if you go activate it, it turns on a laser. So it's just a bunch of laser fields intersecting and going all over the place, and you have to dodge the laser because lasers hurt, I guess. But you're just in this big arena, and there's, like I said, 2v2, 3v3, 4v4. You're all running around, all these class abilities and stuff like that, and you're just trying to knock each other into the laser field or revive all your guys or just whatever to win. It's sort of like a dodgeball mechanic. If all your team's alive and the other team's dead, you win. And there's just constant running around, picking your teammates back up, reviving. So it's one of those matches can last like 10 seconds or it can last 10 minutes sort of thing. It's just constant back and forth. Really cool game. If you try to pull it up on YouTube, you'll be really confused as to what's going on. Because there's just like chaos and mayhem, and you're just like, what's going on? So it's like really chaotic, and I like that. And it's just one of those, sort of like Fortnite is for you guys. It's not as long, obviously, as some of the matches, but it's just one of those, hey, I've got 30 minutes, I can just jump in here and play like 4 or 5 games and go about my day sort of thing. So I haven't had one of those. I haven't been playing the PUBGs or the Fortnites of the world yet, so it's nice to kind of get that. I call it like a back pocket sort of game if you don't really have 3, 4.
I call it an addiction.
But yeah, if you just have something, or you get home late and it's like, hey, I've got a few games I can play, something like that. So jump into that, and really liked it. I'll pick up Okami this week though and get back into that, and I don't know, go through like the PS2 Glory Day.
Yeah, I know. I was looking at that. I found out there's a .hack remaster that I didn't even know about, like the first 3 games that were for PS2, and I'm like, that's kind of cool. Like, I like them bringing back all these PS2 games, either remastered from the ground up or even just bringing them over is really nice. I also plan on starting Okami very soon, so you'll probably finish it before I do. I'm excited to jump in there. So I obviously have been playing Fortnite. I'm finished with my battle pass as of the time that this goes live. So I got my Black Knight and everything. They gave the details of the next battle pass, which is nice because they went back on their word in a good way. Basically, they said, hey, the next battle pass is going to cost real money instead of like the in-game currency. So if you earned in-game currency through like the Save the World Horde mode or through your past battle passes, which gives that, you wouldn't be able to pay for it. And they're like, hey, 950 in-game currency, which is basically $9.50, and you're in the next battle pass. So that's actually a happy backtrack that they did, because that means that my current battle pass paid for my next one, and I get in the next one for free. So that's cool. I hit my 50th win, which was really good. I started just being able to steamroll wins. I got 4 in a row at one point. So I feel like I don't get that nervous feeling anymore when I'm in like the bottom 2 people. When I'm doing the final fights, I'm just kind of like, all right, we'll see what happens. Like I have no expectations for the final fight, and it really helps because then you're not like missing shots terribly that you should be hitting at least.
That's how I feel about life. I just don't have any expectations.
And then you're like, this
isn't
that bad.
That's how I always felt in Counter-Strike matches, because I would always get down, like especially if you're the terrorist and you're going to plant the bomb and you don't know where anyone is, and like counter-terrorists are used to hiding and stuff like that. I would always get down to that, and I would be like, I start thinking like, man, everyone's watching me.
Yep.
Like
they have a spectator thing now that shows you how many people are watching you.
As soon as I die, if I do something stupid, and as soon as I die, I'm gonna have 10 people laughing at me, and it's just like
any game really where you die and that's it. Like you don't get another life. And then on top of that, with the PUBG Battle Royale whole thing, is like you've been playing for 22 minutes.
and if you die, you don't get another chance. Like it just starts to make you really nervous. But I've gotten 50 wins now, which was kind of my goal once I started getting going. So I'm happy with that. They've added an impulse grenade, which I kind of showed you guys earlier, which basically you throw it down and it doesn't do damage, but it launches anything that's near it. So
displacement, basically.
Yeah, so if you throw it into a group of 4 people, it's going to separate that whole group. If they're in a base, it'll launch them out of the base and they take fall damage, so you can kill people that way. I've seen people send people flying into spikes. I've seen people wait until the storm is super small in the final battle and just throw one and launch them out into the storm so they die. They're interesting. I don't know if you would ever really pick them over guns or healing items. It's kind of their problem right now with adding new stuff is, does anything beat assault rifle, shotgun, healing items, rocket launcher,
I like it.
sniper?
Like, especially in something where you're building fortifications or hiding in something, like it's nice to have that option to just launch people out.
It's cool for squads, I think, because it only takes up 1 slot in one of your party's stuff, as opposed to solo where it's like, it's probably not worth it in solo. But in squads, when you can have people,
it's more of a stylish kind of kill.
It's definitely not necessary, that's for sure, but it's fun. Been having a blast with that. Obviously, I finished Ys 8. As per usual, I got the bad ending. I always get the bad ending, but I have gone back to start the path to the true ending because I want to get it. I really, really like this game. I'm gonna kind of recap why I like it. So it feels like a PlayStation 2 game. It really feels like a Kingdom Hearts or a Dark Cloud or Final Fantasy like 10 type thing. Any sort of PlayStation 2 RPG, if you really like those, I think you would like this game. It's odd because it's almost nostalgic in how it plays like that, even though I've never played this series before.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I really liked when this game did that. It seems like it borrows a lot from that stuff. And I guess it was around then, too.
I definitely like the aesthetics of it. It looked really nice.
Yeah.
All the characters seem really unique and cool.
All of my complaints with the game are stuff that would be fixed with like budget issues, because this clearly isn't, a Persona 5 as far as how much money they're spending on this JRPG. Right. So like all of my complaints are like, oh, I wish there was more anime cutscenes because there's not that many and things like that. But that's all stuff that isn't really their fault. They did really, really good with what they have. The combat's super fun. They even do like that JRPG thing where it's like, oh, you're getting to the end of the game. Here's a bunch of boss battles that they like to do. And the combat's so fun, doesn't even matter. It felt like I took 10 hours with this game, and I took, almost 4 times that. So really, really recommend it. I love the idea that you're just trapped on an island. Your ship wrecks, trapped on an island. The whole game takes place on this island. There's no, I talk about how there's no money system. You're like finding coconuts and minerals and stuff, and you trade 2 twigs for like a strong twig, and then you can turn that strong twig with some like, I don't know, dragon claws or whatever it is into different stuff, and then you use that to power up your weapons. They gate things in a way that's not annoying, and in a way that I found out that I like. So a lot of my problem with open world stuff is a lot of the time the open world doesn't matter. It's almost like I wish I could just teleport to the next mission point and start it, because traversing the open world is not fun for me. But
Horizon.
But in this one, they make the journey worth it. So that path that you're on to get to the next quest, there's always dialogue going on with your party. There's cutscenes in the middle of it. Maybe you'll stumble upon a new party member. Maybe you'll stumble upon a chef to go into your little island camp, and now you can cook meals, or a blacksmith and stuff like that. Speaking of gating things off, they gate off the world in that way, where you need a certain number of recruits to open things. So like, I am missing so many recruits. There's tons of things that I can't open yet, so I'm excited to see kind of what's behind those things, because I haven't found those recruits yet. And then they have like, whenever you beat main bosses, you get this thing for your forge, which makes the forge stronger, which means you can make your weapons stronger. So they like make sure that you're not like super OP going through it. Like everything feels balanced really nicely. So thoroughly enjoyed the game. Highly recommend it. And my complaint about it that I had, I think last week or the week before, was the raids. And I found out that if you just talk to the guy and don't hit initiate raid, you can hit fortify, and you can level up your entire base, and then the raid doesn't end in 4 seconds, which was my problem. The monsters were destroying everything and getting to the gate, and if the gate gets destroyed, you get a game over. And I'm like, man, that's stupid. And then I found out that you can just fortify the base, and I did it. I fortified everything, and it literally poisons, burns, paralyzes everything. You have people shooting boulders and stuff helping you, and I probably couldn't could have just like sat back and won it. Like it was that big of a difference. So that was my fault, and I apologize to the game. I'm stupid.
If you ever end up playing Shadow of War, take that same tactic into it. Hey, I can probably upgrade my stuff throughout the course of this game.
You can upgrade everything in this game, from like finding recipes and making better food. You can catch fish. You know, there's legendary fish and stuff that you can catch. You can upgrade all your weapons. You can upgrade all your armor. You can upgrade your base. Like everything is upgradable. So if you're having trouble, it's probably because you're not upgrading something.
I think you're the only person that doesn't upgrade or like skill trees or anything.
I don't like skill trees. That's true. And then like even your attacks. So like there's one attack that I really like where you throw down these bear traps, and if somebody steps on it, it's just like a constant damage over time. And if you use that attack a lot, it starts to get stronger, and then eventually it like adds a poison effect to it. So it does it and it poisons. So they they reward you for using the same, combos and stuff, which is nice. But yeah, all the characters great. The backstories on I liked all the party members, which is interesting, and I actually ended up using every single one except for one in my party at some point, which is good. And you get like backstory pieces for all of them, and most of them are good to extremely satisfying.
You didn't use the one that reminded you of me.
Yeah, the blonde-haired dude. I didn't like him. He has a gun, which is weird because it's long. It's like
the gun was awesome.
A medium range. Yeah, it's not really awesome.
Yeah, the guy looked awesome.
Yeah, he's cool. Thanks. But I don't have a problem with the character. I don't like his gameplay. So.
Yeah, that sucks.
But yeah, great game. Highly recommended. I think it's perfect on Switch. So when it comes to Switch, if you have a Switch, I think that's probably the best place to pick it up.
I would get the PC version, but it's been delayed indefinitely.
Yeah, I saw that. They had localization problems, and they patched it all in like the PlayStation 4 and the Vita version, and then the PC version they're just like, and now the game's just not coming out on PC.
Okay. I mean, I at least like that they saw that there were problems and didn't try to just go like, maybe no one will notice. Like it feels like a lot of these games do. Don't ship it broken, so. Hats off to them, I guess.
Yeah, they fixed it, but then
they're not putting out the game.
Then they're just like, PC, no. And then they're like, Switch version, though, that's coming out. I don't know. I guess their market data says it's not worth it to them or something. I don't know. Because, like, it's hard to find, like when I was having trouble with the raids, and granted, it's probably because I was doing them wrong, I was, like, looking up, trying to find, like, guides on how to do these, because I was like, how are people not, like, mad that this is so hard, even though it was my fault?
Well, that should be a clear sign first off, like, I'm doing something wrong.
But like it's hard to find information on the game and stuff, so I don't think it's pretty niche. But really liked it. I'm gonna hop into the Vita Origin, which is the first one, and start that and see how that goes. So that's exciting. And the last one I want to talk about is Sprint Vector, which is a PSVR game, which is like Jet Set. People say it's like Jet Set Radio, but really it's just because you rollerblade and it's all neon-y. The world doesn't have the personality that Jet Set has, because that's one of the best worlds in gaming, I think. But this is a racing game where you start at point A and you need to get to point B, but you do it by moving your arms like you're kind of sprinting, but you're on rollerblades, so you're gaining really fast momentum, and there's things that you can grab onto that'll kind of launch you, and then there's like Mario Party style weapons and things to get the people in first place. Yeah, and it is extremely exhausting. Like, you're going to get a work because you have to pump your arms to move. Otherwise, you're not going to move. And, you have, like, single-player challenges and stuff, but this is an online, like, racing game. And this is one of the bigger PSVR games that I've seen that people kind of out of nowhere are like, this is awesome. Like, this is a really good one. So it's I think this one's definitely worth checking out if you have VR, for sure. And Moss is coming out really soon, like this month. So
that's the one with the squirrel?
The mouse.
Mouse, even better.
Quill. Yeah. Like there's emojis of him on iPhones and stuff now that you can use. Like they're pushing that game.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that. But that's it from me. So let's move into the news. Just a hodgepodge of random things.
There's just stuff.
Yeah. So let's start with The Evil Within 2, why don't we? This is getting an interesting patch that adds a first-person mode to the game. So instead of Resident Evil 4, it becomes Resident Evil 7. Basically, that's the idea. I was like, that's dumb, and then I watched the trailer, and I was like, I'd play that. That's pretty cool. No real positive or negative spin on this because obviously it's not out. It is a free patch, so that's cool.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't know why they're doing this. I don't know what the incentive is.
And for me, it doesn't fix the problems with the game of them just like cramming so much dialogue. Like they turned into like a Fallout,
the empty open world type thing.
And
just
it just kind of lost its identity, I guess, is what I said last year when I was talking
compared
about
to the first one. For sure.
Like it just kind of got muddled up between 2 or 3 other types of games, and it's just like, what is this again? But now you can just add first person to it and make it a 4th or 5th.
They were
genre.
like, Grand Theft Auto 5 did that thing. Let's do that. Like I said, there's no negative or positive to this. I don't think it'll be interesting. Maybe they're like, hey, you need some precise shooting to do some stuff here. I don't really know the idea.
Well, I mean, your thing too is like when it's a third person game, you can relate with the character more, and now you just.
What if they're doing it because they're prepping it for a VR release?
Oh, that would be cool.
Wouldn't surprise me.
It wouldn't surprise me either. Actually, I just thought of
the
that.
game more interesting.
It'd make it way more spooky.
I mean, yeah, if they were like, hey, this is in VR, I would instantly buy it, basically. Yeah. So I guess that would work. But maybe that's what it is. Maybe they're VRing the game, which requires it to be into first person for whatever, and they're just like, hey, why don't we just release this because we can, and it'll get us headlines, and maybe some people will buy the game. So it's cool. Good on them. Bethesda doing really well with their stuff.
Yeah, they can afford to just kind of randomly.
They're like, I mean, not only are their games good, they have a couple like, like Prey wasn't, the biggest thing and stuff like that, but like them supporting their games and just doing consumer friendly stuff.
Yeah.
Very good. Very
I mean, yeah, like, not that my awards mean anything, but I gave Bethesda like the video game company. Yeah. Because I mean, they're just killing it as far as like active participation, really. And then there was a couple of weeks where like, oh yeah, we're releasing this new game that we talked about this week, but we're not done yet. And it's like, really?
Yeah.
Like 3 weeks left in the year. What are you going to release now?
That YouTube video of that random interview, and he's just like, yeah, and we haven't even announced all our games for this year. What was that? Nothing. I didn't say that. Let's talk about the best news story in a long time. Spyro the Dragon.
Ooh.
Apparently, Spyro the Dragon is getting remastered. So Kotaku did some digging, and we have, according to multiple sources familiar with the project, Activision is currently working on a Spyro the Dragon trilogy remaster. It will be announced in March 2018 and will be released apparently in September. So September is its 20th anniversary, so the rumors are it's going to line up on its 20th anniversary.
Oh, some games hit their anniversary date? That's nice.
It was really awkward, that whole episode where we talked about Resident Evil 2 for 20 minutes, and then nothing happened.
Oh, yeah.
It. We were like,
it's still a month later.
You'll know by now, because they're going to do something, and then they just never did it.
It's still a month later.
That was
like,
weird.
Why did that happen?
The game will be a 1-year timed exclusive for PlayStation 4 before being ported to other systems in 2019, and apparently the Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy is tied to a similar 1-year deal, so expect ports of that later in 2018. So I assume it's going to Switch 100%. I think that's the easy one. And then I imagine it might be on Xbox, might be on PC, would be my guess if I had to say it.
I hope.
It is Activision, so I feel like they don't have a problem doing that. Like once in a while, like Final Fantasy 12 and 10, like stuff like this never ends up making it over there, but then they're like, oh, we'll put it on Switch, like the Japanese stuff. I think this is universal enough that Activision's like, yeah, give us all the money. The Spyro the Dragon trilogy remastered is currently under development by Vicarious Visions, who did the Insane trilogy.
Yep.
So we know that it's in good hands because that was one of the best remasters. That was really, really well done, except for maybe the first game. Super excited.
So excited. I think we talked about it on this podcast before.
I mean, we've talked. Yeah, I've brought this up a million times, and I literally gave up on it. I was like, I guess not, guys.
Well, it's kind of been like background talk, like it's gonna happen, sort of thing. But this is the first I won't even call it concrete, but like actual investigative.
They said multiple sources, and a lot of people. Like once a few people started talking about it, everybody's like, yeah, we know, like this is a thing. The thing is, with Crash, there was all those signs. And literally, there was signs. Like, in the trailer for PlayStation All-Stars, there was a sign with Crash Bandicoot on it in the background, and it was an arrow, and then it had Sony symbol above it in, like, a very obscure kind of way. And people were like, ooh, Crash is coming. And then he wore the T-shirt of Crash Bandicoot. So, like, there was signs there that Crash was coming. And that's why I was expecting signs that Spyro was coming, and we never got them. So I just gave up on that prediction. I was like, I guess it's not happening, because I don't understand the mindset. If this has been in development and you're working on it, announcing it in March or waiting till it gets leaked, because that's what happened, is weird when you just had PSX, which would have been the perfect place to be like, by the way, guys, Spyro Trilogy is coming. Like, that's such an easy slam
be fair,
dunk.
like last year's PSX was like one of the worst, just because it had that European conference like a week before it. So it
sure,
derailed.
but would it have been one of the worst if at the end of it they went Spyro the Dragon remastered coming 2018?
But I feel like they
did Medieval, which is like, I was content with it because they did the Medieval thing, and I like Medieval more than Spyro, so I was like, ooh, good.
I feel like they talked themselves into that corner, though, because they kind of got slapped with the whole idea that, like, you know, they're the company that says coming soon, and it's like 3 years later, so I think they like dialed it way back.
Oh yeah, we just found out when God of War is coming out, like, so
I think they pulled way too far back. So this is one of those instances where it's like, okay, well, they could have talked about it last year, but it would have said a year or a year and a half.
Get people
would have been like, oh, here's Sony.
It's so funny because they announced this, and instantly my Facebook feed was blowing up with Spyro everywhere from all these people who don't talk about games. Like, people that are all like, oh, you know, doing their own thing. And then the Spyro rumor starts, and I'm seeing all these shared posts about Spyro. I'm like, this is going to be like Crash Bandicoot again. Like, this is great.
Except bigger.
Huh?
Except bigger.
No, it definitely won't be bigger than Crash, but it'll definitely do. It'll definitely do well.
Maybe.
I think it'll do at least $1.5 million less than Crash does.
Really? I think it'll do more.
Really? If I had the belt, I would bet you on it. But Kellen has it and never shows up. So, moving on, real quick one. Xbox Live app is adding voice chat, so the ability to join a party from your phone and talk to your friends. This is awesome. I've been wanting this on the PlayStation app forever, and people might be like, well, why would you want that? You know what I mean? I think that it helps the casual gamer hang out more with the hardcore gamer and maybe even help them. Also, I don't think there's a negative to it, really. But I've always wanted it because I always thought it would be cool. Like, I'm in the PlayStation parties, you know, with people all the time, and it's like, man, I really wish that, you know, maybe my girlfriend or even like my sister or something could just hop in and talk with us. Like, that's fun. You don't have to be in the current game to have fun just talking to people, you know? And having more access to that, I think, is super helpful.
Well, like the technology and like the codecs and stuff like that in the phones nowadays, like they're just as good, if not better, than most of the headsets out there.
Yeah,
so
my favorite
voice quality and stuff like that doesn't really suffer.
My favorite thing that I saw was like, ooh, I'm going to use this to play Switch. You can talk to people and play your Switch. So that's awesome. Love that idea. Next up, Sea of Thieves will have microtransactions. And they announced that they're going to be like good microtransactions, though. We'll see about that. Basically, they said they're not going to be loot boxes. Yeah. That was their good microtransactions pitch.
How shitty would that be if you buy a pirate game and then you have to buy actual loot boxes? That's one way to tank the game, for sure. But no, I mean, you even listed it, but it's like consumables and pets and just like aesthetic stuff. So whatever.
Yeah, so they said that 3 months after the launch of the game, they're going to add these microtransactions. I think there's two reasons for this. One is to dodge the controversy of microtransactions on day one. You don't want that. It always hurts review scores. There's always people like Angry Joe and stuff who are going to ding you at least a point just because you have microtransactions on day one. So I think they're avoiding that. But two, they have that Game Pass thing where it's $10 and you get the game for $10.
Right.
And I think they want to make money off of those people as well. And this is a good way to do that. They talked about how these microtransactions are supposed to be for everybody. So like pets, but like it's not my pet in that like you can't do any, this is mine, ha ha ha. Like you can come up and take my pet and like run off with it and play with it and you know what I mean? It's for the crew, not just for me because I paid for it. And then there's also consumables that'll turn you into like a skeleton for a numbered period of time and stuff like. So I don't know how I feel about this. I feel like this is a news headline for a weird reason, and that is because it doesn't have loot boxes. And there's so much hate for loot boxes that they just wanted to be like, we don't have them, guys. And everybody's like, yay. I don't know. if that's worth cheering over, but okay.
The good thing is that it's completely optional and it doesn't affect the game as far as like how well you can play in it.
Yeah.
And it's not like a competitive shooter.
They said they're trying to get the ability to shoot the cat pets out of cannons, so so it might.
Kind of makes me think of like, are they testing this for like Halo or the next Gears? Is this sort of? I think because you can't hurt this kind of game by doing cosmetic loot boxes, so they're, for lack of a better phrase, like testing the waters.
I think every first-party Microsoft game will have microtransactions from here on out. I think with the Game Pass transition, with the $10 for Halo, $10 for Gears, which they've both announced, $10 for Sea of Thieves, there's no reason to not try and grab an extra $5 here and there from everybody who has that. And I feel like they think, at least, people who didn't pay for it or got it for $10 are going to be more likely to do that.
Sure.
I don't know if that's true.
I would be more likely to do it.
Because I've been playing Fortnite forever, and there's skins that I love, and I still won't buy them. But then I know people who have spent $200 on skins in that game, $300. So, like, they're paying more than my entry into that game for sure. So they just need one, like, whale person to do that, and then it's over. So, whatever.
That's true.
Next up, PlayStation VR is $199 until March 3rd. So this is just a promo that they are running. They say for no real reason. They're just like, hey, get a PlayStation VR. So this is the same as their Black Friday deal. So I believe it is $199 for the headset. And then if you want the pack with like the camera and the game, that is $299. So really good deal.
It's a steal. It's way cheaper than we paid for it.
That is very true. If you have the camera already, I think this is almost a no-brainer. Like, you just grab it, and then you can grab some of the controller, like the ones that don't require move controllers, and kind of ease yourself into it. You can get Resident Evil 7.
If you're interested in virtual reality at all, this is your best bet.
Yeah.
As far as price tag, as far as like simplicity of hooking it up, and you don't need a massive rig, like a PC rig for it, because obviously it's just your PS4.
They also have that, they also kind of with it announced the Rick and Morty PlayStation VR game coming out in April. And that's all up for pre-order and stuff. I don't know if I want to get that. I've heard it's good. So I'm like interested in it, but I also don't know if it's going to be like, kind of like, I like the South Park Stick of Truth game, but like how much of that is me liking South Park?
Well, yeah, that's the reason why I haven't played the games, because I'm like, I haven't watched an episode, other than maybe it's being on when I walk into a room sort of scenario.
Yeah.
But
I just
with Rick and
know.
Morty, I've watched all of that, so maybe that's why I'm like, hell yeah, I'm gonna buy this versus South Park.
Yeah, that's the only thing that I'm like, maybe I wouldn't enjoy it because of that. That being said, a South Park VR game, that sounds awesome.
I think you just need to watch Rick and Morty.
I have watched it. I just didn't like it very much. Don't kill me. Next up.
Yeah, it's not a fan base you want.
I saw what they did to McDonald's. So. News has broken that THQ Nordic has acquired Deep Silver and all of its IPs. So this is interesting because THQ filed for bankruptcy in 2012 and sold off a bunch of their stuff and et cetera, and now they're kind of just getting it back. So they're getting Metro, they're getting Saints Row, and a whole bunch of other things. Like, there's a bunch of stuff that company has worked on, and there's a bunch of stuff that they've published. Like, I know they published Mighty No. 9. Dead Island's another one that they're getting back. They're publishing Shenmue 3. Like, there's a lot of random ones. Like, they're like a B-tier publisher. They're like, oh, a Kickstarter game? Let's publish that. But it's cool that they're getting their IPs back into a developer, or giving them back to like a developer that I feel like wants them and will do something cool with them. Homefront's another one.
I could use another Saints Row.
Sure.
Especially since we're getting ready to switch from Grand Theft Auto to Red Dead.
Mm-hmm. So from them, we're getting the new, is it Metro Exodus? Is that the new one? I don't know. They all blend together.
Yeah, we'll just say yes.
There's that. They're working on Biomutant, which is cool. That game looks sweet, actually. Darksiders 3 is in the pipeline for them.
I do like Darksiders.
So they have that, and then now on top of that, whatever Deep Silver is working on is going
Saints
to be.
Row, please.
Probably. I don't know why they wouldn't make another Saints Row.
Yeah, so. I mean, you got a clear 3 or 4 year period before the next Grand Theft Auto hits, so make something of it.
Your time to strike is now. Next up, just a real quick one that made me happy. Pearl and Marina are getting amiibos, so I really like my Callie and Mari amiibos. And they're gonna have a new two to add to the collection. It's
they look sweet.
$25.
Can you buy them individually?
So I assume it's going to be like them. So in the U.S. they were together. Other places had them together and separate.
I was gonna say I don't know how many
pearls are gonna
would get bought.
are gonna sell. Yeah, like they at the end of Splatoon 1, the final Splatfest was Murray versus Callie.
Yeah.
And I'm very interested in the Marina versus Pearl Splatfest to see the percentage.
Oh, wow.
It's going to be, I imagine, horrible. Because that one was close. It was like a couple percentages off.
Sure,
and
yeah,
Marie
they're
actually won, which surprised me. But yeah, I don't know how Pearl does anything because she just seems like a real mean squid girl. Like,
I mean, she's fine, mediocre, but Marina.
Cool. Yeah, Marina's just a million times better. Is kind of the problem. But yeah, they do look awesome, and I'm very excited for them. Tried to pre-order them. They're like, you can't do that yet. I was like, all right, I'll wait, and I'll do it later. So, super, super excited for that. Also, there's another Splatfest, and it's like money versus love. I'm like, that's really weird. What a weird Splatfest.
I like the cupcakes versus ice cream or whatever it was.
Was it cupcakes versus ice cream? It was definitely ice cream versus cake, I think it
was cupcakes versus cake.
That would be a dumb spot. That's like two of the same things.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of missed opportunities with the Splatfest.
I just know that cake lost because cake's way worse than whatever. Was it pie?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Cake's trash. That's all it matters.
All right. Finally, just some news that I threw on here because I'm a big Mega Man fan. The Australian rating board has rated Mega Man X Collection and Mega Man X Collection 2, which is interesting because they've already announced that they're bringing all the X games to Switch. They're bringing them everywhere. And they're bringing the original Legacy collections to Switch. That was one of their announcements for the anniversary of Mega Man because they actually did something for his anniversary. This is weird because the Switch ESRB says that it's 1 and 2 together, which hasn't happened before. So they're like one thing. And then the X collections are apparently 2 collections, which is strange because nobody really likes the later half of the X collection. And I don't know how you make a collection that makes X collection 2 interesting to people because everybody loves X1. Like X1 is super popular.
Everyone.
X1 is super popular, and then people like X4 on the PlayStation 1, and then people like X2 and X3. But like X5 and 6 is where it started to lose people. 7 is a terrible video game, and then like 8 is good, but nobody played it because 7 was terrible. So like they have this weird problem where if you split it anywhere, like down the middle, everybody's only going to want to buy the first one. So unless you either just...
So it's like what we just talked about with the amiibos. You got to bunch them together.
Yeah, but I don't know how because they've already announced that it's being split, basically. So I don't know how you split it and make it good because you can't go like 1, 4, 7, and 6 are in one collection and 5 too.
Like, a good way to sell them 1 and 8 on this one and the rest are on this one.
I mean, that would be a good way to sell them, but I don't know what you do. So there's a couple like spin-offs. Like there's Maverick Hunter X, which is like a remake of 1 that you could put onto the other one, and that might help it. They have Command Mission, which is one I haven't played, but it's an RPG. That takes place in that universe, and maybe you could put that on one. So like, there's a couple things you can do. There's like a
you probably make the first pack, the good one, like double the price, so it seems more.
Yeah, I honestly don't know what you do. Yeah. Even as a fan who's going to buy both of them, I don't know how you make the second one enticing at all. Oh, you did what I always do.
Hey, there's a wall there.
Yeah, so I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. Also, interesting from it. They rated, and this is the Australian rating board, they rated the first collection M, which is like kind of like teen here. It's like 15 plus, I believe. And then they rated the second collection PG. So
PG.
Yeah, and that's obviously just like, it's, I think that's like E10 probably would be the equivalent. So that's really strange because the first one's the Super Nintendo games, I assume. Why would they be the one for older? I don't know. It's a weird situation because you would think that the PlayStation 1 ones and the ones that actually have like the anime cutscenes with stuff actually happening in them would be more, because it's for violence, but you would think that they would be more graphic violence.
Oh, it's not like brief nudity and whatever.
No, unfortunately. There is a Flash Man, though.
Watch out for him.
All right, that's enough news for one day. Let's move into some questions and comments from last week. Good friend Zach Yoder posted, "It seems like the episode got cut off. Maybe that's just me." That was from last week. By now it's fixed. I've already gone and fixed it. I totally cut off the last 10 minutes of the episode. So if you were like, "Hey, that's
people
weird,"
watch that far into the episode.
Yeah. So if you're like, "Hey, that's
thank you,"
that's a little weird. I fixed that, so you can go check out my hot take on Shadow of the Colossus at the end of the episode. He also posted, "I'm really excited for Kingdom Hearts 3, but I'm scared it's not going to make this year and get pushed into early 2019, which at this point, oh well." I am getting more and more confident it's going to hit this year with every passing day.
I'm definitely hoping it is, but I'm not confident about it.
I don't know. They're like the dates at E3. They put out 3 trailers now that have 2018 at the end of it. It looks like a finished game.
It does look like a complete game
when you see the trailers.
Yeah.
Then they were like, "Oh, it's 70% done." It's like, what?
Yeah,
How are you gonna finish the game?
I feel like the game's going to be gigantic, and that's why it's taking so long.
Well, yeah, it's definitely going to be if you think about it, we had Kingdom Hearts games on the PlayStation 2, the PSP, and the DS, family.
Right.
And that's it. So, we skipped the PlayStation 3 generation, and we jumped straight to the PlayStation 4. So, you have to imagine that is a huge gap in just how big the worlds are going to be. They showed off a little bit of Tangled. This was a behind closed doors thing, but people talked about it. And,
it looks awesome.
For the first time, the world, Disney worlds, not just the main world that you kind of hang out in, the Disney worlds are going to have NPCs walking around, and they're doing their daily life and stuff more like, an RPG or something like that, or a regular RPG, as opposed to it being pretty barren because it was on the PlayStation 2, so there's 2 people there. Yeah. But now there's a whole thriving world.
It definitely
with people
looks like
doing
there's
stuff,
a lot.
which is neat.
The first game in particular is very linear. It's very...
Yeah, I mean, there's some choices that you can make, but doing the actual Disney worlds there's no out of order way to do the world that you're in.
Yeah, if you just kind of look at these different gameplays, it definitely looks a lot more open-ended, which is sweet.
It looks like they're really trying to make the combat open-ended. You could do it this way, or you could do it this way, or you could they're giving you a lot of choices for combat, which is cool. Birth by Sleep did that, and I enjoyed it quite a lot because they made you pick your attacks, so you only had so many, and then certain ones comboed with other ones, etc., etc. Liren says, "I was very impressed by the Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer. It just made me that much more excited to finally be able to play the game. I'm just staying hopeful that they keep that 2018 release date. This is a running theme.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. I don't know." World End says, "Funny how Sony remastered The Last of Us for PlayStation 4. Every Nintendo fan was like, remaster Station 4? Nothing but remasters and ports. Why would I want one? But now Nintendo has literally remastered the Wii U with the Switch. It's the second coming of gaming because everything's portable." I remember all the... Do you ever go into IGN comments?
Yeah.
Very toxic place to go.
I try to stay... I hear about them from way far back, galaxies away, but
when it, the hot releases of the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, up to a year in at least, and I've stopped going there, so it's probably still going on to this day. But everybody was Indie Station, they only have indie games, and then it was the remasters or the port station and the remaster station, all this stuff. Which I like ports, I like remasters, and I like indies, so that's cool. But they got a lot of flack for doing that. And then, the Switch is we remastered the game, and everybody's like, oh, 5 million copies sold. I don't fully... if you think about all the best-selling stuff, Zelda was a Wii U game,
Mario was probably a Wii U game, but that we won't count that. That's a Switch game. But then even like Splatoon 2 is like kind of like Splatoon 1.5, Xenoblade. Yeah, like they're all clearly like iterations of Wii U stuff.
Right.
And it's weird because these could have come out on the Wii U.
Yeah.
And I think they would not be loved like they are.
Probably.
It's kind of a shitty system.
Mario would have been loved regardless. Zelda would have been loved regardless. But yeah, some of these
I don't know if it would.
mid-tier ones.
The thing is, like you said, it's a shitty system. I think the hardware itself is, but the games on that thing were really good.
The games are fine.
Yeah, it was just like, oh,
Just
I got to take out my Fisher-Price tablet here and navigate through these
stupid.
menus. I was talking about how I sold my GameCube because I had the Wii. And I was like, I'll never need a GameCube again. This takes the controllers, the memory cards, and the discs. This is perfect. And then I instantly regretted it because I'm like, oh, every time I turn it on, I have to have batteries in my Wiimote. Got to get the sensor out and click the thing. And I'm like, this is horrible. Yeah. What a bad decision
I made. It was fun like the first month. And then after that, I was like, God damn it, just sitting on the fucking screen, please.
Did you know if you hold 2 candles
or
2 flashlights, you can navigate
then
the
they just came out
Wii
with
with that?
Controller for me, so that was nice.
What? They have a controller that does it?
No, for the Wii, I just could use a controller instead of having them stop motion stick.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
They've done that?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's like a black controller.
All right, I'll believe you. How about a question?
All right, let's hear it.
Questions.
What single-player game do we wish had multiplayer? And what multiplayer game do we wish had single-player? So a lot of things to choose for part 1. Not as much for part 2. But regardless, Todd, I'm going to start with you.
Which one are we starting with?
Let's do single-player first.
Single-player game that you wish had multiplayer.
Jade Empire.
Jade Empire. How would you multiplayer that game?
I think like Kung Fu PvP would be sick in that game.
Oh, that's interesting. I thought you were going to go more like Knights of the Old Republic SWTOR, like an MMO type thing.
No, that'd be fine. But I think
that'd be cool too.
Yeah, I think like a Kung Fu like PvP would be really fun in that game.
Combat that good?
Yeah. No, the combat's really fun in that game.
Is it?
Oh yeah.
That one, I mean, I know it's somewhere on your list just because you like to play games that we all like, sort of thing. It's the same like age and period as KOTOR as far as like when the actual game was released.
I was going to say, I don't think so. One has laser swords.
It got released around that same time, so it feels a lot like it, but instead of KOTOR where it's like, oh, an enemy, pause, and then like select your action sort of thing, this one's just go.
Yeah.
So
and you just have a different
No, yeah, I'm excited to play it.
It's awesome.
Yeah, different like styles of fighting and stuff like that. So that'd be cool to be like, oh, he's using Demon Fist, so I'm going to use Tiger Claw or something like that. So
sick.
I like it.
Yeah, be fun.
Nick.
Single play. Oh, Mass Effect. I really feel like those games should have co-op.
Interesting.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
I don't think you should force it.
Oh, you want co-op. I like
multiplayer.
that. Okay.
Almost like Destiny.
I didn't think about co-op.
Well, the thing about the most recent one, Andromeda, is that you were twins in the game. You could pick the guy or the girl twin. Mm-hmm. Like, why couldn't you just have someone grab a controller and play the other member of the family sort of thing? But I like it when it takes like a single-player game like that that's already difficult, at least if you play it on the hard settings, and then you add like another player and it's like twice as hard. Like the enemies shoot harder and all that stuff. So
and you're like just playing like a couch co-op game, like or even online.
Everything's better than in co-op.
Oh yeah,
that's absolutely true. Especially because I've been playing so much stuff online recently.
Well, and
I'm just like, man, it's so much better when there's somebody chatting in my ear.
If you've ever seen someone play Knights of the Old or SWTOR online, but they had a really cool system for dialogue because it looks a lot like a Mass Effect game, obviously BioWare, where like if we were the party going in and here's this dialogue section now, there's like an invisible dice that rolls and you would roll like 10, 20, 30 and the highest roll gets the option and you could be like, kill this guy. And I'd be like, yeah, let's kill him. But he's like, no, let's save him. And he wins the roll, then you save him because he won the roll and it would go through 3, 4, 5 instances of that. And then like that scene would play out. So that would be really cool to add to a game like that because
that would be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Hey, you made me like that choice. Good job. My choice, I've talked about it on here before, but I want to bring it back up because I still think it's a great idea. And then they came out with a sequel or a prequel-ish thing, and it didn't do it. And I was like, man, you missed your opportunity. And that is Mirror's Edge. I've always wanted multiplayer in that game since the first one came out, and A co-op in that game would be cool too, but I always wanted the Spies versus Mercs, Splinter Cell multiplayer.
That would be
this,
freaking sweet.
where it's either like a 4v4 at most, maybe even the 2v2 that they had, where there's a team of runners and a team of like...
I like the team of rummers more.
and a team of mercenaries.
Yeah.
Who have guns, and it's more like a first-person shooter. They have some, tracking gear and things like that. And the runners have 2 objectives, and they only need to complete one of them to win. And the runners could be together, working together. They could have separated, and the perspective of the one is first person. Well, I guess the runners would be first person too in this case, but I think that doesn't change too much of the game like it would in
That seems
Splinter
like it would
Cell.
open up a bunch of stuff too because of like the parkour options. Like you're used to enemies running in front of you, or like Halo where they're jumping, you're jumping. Like it's not really normal to see someone running at you, but they're running up the side of the wall.
Parkour PvP didn't work out. Just was that game Brink?
I'm not. Whatever. I think it's cool, but like just that fact of like I can go to point A either like swinging from this rope all the way down, or running up the wall, or doing this crazy stuff. So
I mean, it definitely sounds like a cool idea.
Yeah, and there's cool things like
boxes for a game like
the level design would be the hardest part of it. Designing a level that's fair for the mercs who have to like navigate the turns and stuff, where the runners can just leap over them and crawl through air vents, and you don't know where they went to and what room they're going to pop out in and stuff like that. But you also have like the mercs whole thing is the runners thing is they don't kill people, so like you could have them run off the wall and do like a kick that puts the other people to sleep, and they have to be woken up, or do the button presses to wake themselves up. You could have their guns get like dismantled by the runners, which happens in the game. Like I was so happy when they announced Catalyst, and like I liked that game, and I was excited for going back into that world. But I was hoping so much, especially because it was EA. I was like, please put in a multiplayer. I think that is the perfect candidate for an asymmetrical multiplayer.
It'd be cool.
And we're never gonna get it probably, so that's unfortunate.
The biggest game, going back to your kind of idea with Todd's answer, my number one choice for turning a single player game into like a world or MMO would be Jet Set. I would really like a Jet Set world.
That would be freaking sweet.
Kind of. Splatoon is Jet Set-y, but it's different.
Yeah, it's close. I mean, the music kind of feels like it, and the graphics sort of make you think of it. But nothing really comes close in that regard.
I agree with that for sure. Todd, give me a multiplayer game. This one's a lot harder, but if you can, give me a multiplayer game you want a single player for.
League of Legends.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I would definitely. There's a very rich environment and story, and all the characters are related, and there's all these civilizations that conflict in this game. So I think it'd be really cool if I could just like pick my favorite champion and like play through a story mode.
Almost like a fighting game.
Yeah.
How they have like an arcade mode or whatever you want to call it. Some places have gotten a little crazier with. I really actually like how DBZ does it with. Depending on how you do in the fight, it puts you in a different bracket, basically, for the story and stuff like that. It's interesting. I that.
I think it'd be a lot of
also, another, and this is my biggest thing, because, multiplayer games, I feel like the problem is you want more.
Right.
Like, that's the biggest problem with multiplayer-only games, is you're like, man, for League, I'm like, oh, Jinx is such a cool character, and, like, she has her own song. She has a cool music video.
I mean, she's got a cool background.
Yeah, she's got all this cool stuff. And then I'm like, man, I really wish there was a game that like I could play as her and figure out what she's about. But nope, I just run around and shoot things with the shark or whatever, and then I teleport home and die. I don't know how to play that game. But like, like they have such cool characters, and I want more of them.
Yep.
Not in like comic. I want more of them in a video game.
Yeah, and that game's really deep on lore too. Like each person they release has like this huge background thing. It's like they come from this land and in the middle of this war sort of thing. So it's one of those like, why not explore it rather than just like read about it or wait for a cinematic piece or something like that to come out.
I think it could be fun. It'd be cool if you like, like you start out your little. I wouldn't assume that it would be like long. Yeah. Like every individual character has their little story they're going through, so you can learn about them and like play with them. But you unlock like an ability as like you're going through the game. And you like level up and give different items.
I wish that was the way you unlock skins, because like a lot of the game, like I won't go through all the nations and stuff, but it's like Nation A really hates Nation B and they've been at war all this time. Like that'd be cool. Like if you played that scenario and like played through missions or quests or something like that, and you unlock like the classic skin from this war from forever ago. Like I feel like that would be a cool way to unlock characters.
Yeah, I think that'd be sweet.
Rather than wait for like a free rotation or buy them with in-game monies or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Nick, how about you?
I've always wanted Counter-Strike to have a single-player mode.
That's a good answer. I like that.
And also the most recent Rainbow Six Siege. I know it's got like scenarios or stuff that you can play single-player. I really like the single-player in those games. It's really fun. I like you're going to the top of this like 30-story building and probably 10 times you have to like go to this room and there's 3 doors. You send 2 of your guys over here, a guy over there. And you remember like the old games, especially when they first started making headphone interactions, headset interactions, where you could be like, shoot Tango 1. Like you could use like the thermal scan and see like the 3 guys standing there with the hostage down on their knees sort of thing.
Yeah, it was really cool.
You could be like,
those are fun.
You take out
they're almost like
terrorist
puzzles.
one. Yeah.
It was almost like
kind of like the Ghost Recon games.
Yeah.
It was almost like there was a bunch of
fun.
mini action game puzzles with just like some corridor stuff to get to each new puzzle.
But then, you could say, you take out 1, you take out 2, I'll take out 3 on Zulu, and then you hit the button and he says it, and then like everyone kicks open the door at the same time. That's like a cool way to use AI. I mean, obviously you could use real people, and it makes it way easier, but using that sort of AI in a game where like normally like your AI counterparts usually just like shoot up in the sky and stuff like that in shooter games, like these are actually really good AI and stuff like that. So the most recent one, Siege, needs single player, I think. But yeah, any type of game like that, Counter-Strike especially, I feel like it's just a good way to get your skills up and stuff like that and like warm up basically while you're waiting for a match. So
yeah, that's good.
That'd be cool.
Mine's Overwatch. I've talked about this a lot. I still feel like Overwatch feels like a free game that should be the microtransaction model of a free game. Feels really Team Fortress 2-y. However, very similar to League, Overwatch has awesome characters that, and like they do the shorts and they do have like the comic-y things, like they do all those spin-off stuff. And my thing is, similar, Destiny 1 at least did this too, where they're like, all right, stop playing the game and go see what the story is. I'm like, no, like I want the game to tell me what the story is. Like I want these cool cutscenes. I want, to play as Tracer and do her whole story and then play as, the Gorilla Man.
That'd be super fun.
Like that. I would have bought that game so quickly if they're like from that opening like reveal trailer that they did. I was like, oh, that's awesome. And then it's like, it's just a multiplayer game. I'm like, oh man.
Well, yeah, even if they went back and it was like, here's Tracer in her old uniform and here's this character when he was 20 or something like that, and play different, like I said, scenarios, like play this war, play this battle, play this thing from the cinematic scene.
Yeah, I just want more like set piece based things to get me even more interested in the characters and a couple of character moments that I can play through and experience myself rather than being told.
That's what's really good about the Call of Duty games, especially the Modern Warfare and beyond. Like you see the maps that you're on, obviously, and you learn more about them, but when you've already run through that like airport terminal in single player and you have this really cool action scene, you're like, oh, that's why this map's awesome.
Yeah, that's true.
Like COD 4 did that really well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think all of the Call of Duties in general just do that really well.
So that would add a lot more to like the fiction, I guess, of the game and stuff like that. If you're running through all the maps,
it'd definitely be cool. Like all those like trailers you see, if you could just play those through with the character, I think that would be really neat.
Yeah, and like a lot of people have one-on-one interactions with people through the trailers or through like in-game dialogue and stuff like that. Like let them hash it out and like see why this person hates that person.
Yeah, that'd be very cool.
I absolutely would have been on board. And I'll even take like a Battleborn situation where it's like a co-op story mode that you go through and queue up in. So it's more like Destiny Strikes or whatever they were called. I'll even take that as long as you put, you put some cutscenes in there. Like I said, you put some set pieces, some boss fights. Like I'd be totally down to play that. But I'm playing through Fortnite now, so I guess you can change my mind. But just as that first-person shooter, round after round after round, doesn't do it for me. Unless you got 100 people in there with pickaxes and silly stuff, I ain't in. So,
well, also too, I know Street Fighter's not your favorite game in the world, but this one did really well in the fact that they had characters like Sakura and all other people that have come out or been teased. At least they've been in that single player or arcade mode. They've been like background characters, or they show up in a cutscene or something like that. So that'd be a cool way to preview new champions and stuff like that coming out.
Cool.
Is being like, oh man, this guy got like a lot of screen time in this set piece or cutscene or scenario sort of thing.
They teased it a little bit with like, you know, in some of the videos they'll show like a computer screens going by and it'll show all the characters that have been in the lore.
Like little Easter eggs, but it'd be cool if it was like more fleshed out.
I definitely agree with that.
I agree. Man, I'm so excited. I'm excited for all these things that aren't ever going to happen now. Maybe Overwatch 2.
I wouldn't be surprised if they released a single player like expansion for the game, which would be a weird thing to do, but
yeah, I would, because they were like, hey, we made $4 billion off microtransactions, so I don't know. But let's move into some releases and then get out of here. How's that sound? Releases for this coming week. We have The Station on Xbox One coming February 19th. Anybody know what this is?
Nope.
No, but it should have released on PlayStation.
The One releasing on PlayStation. Metal Gear Survive. PC, PS4, Xbox One, February 20th.
Don't be fooled. This is not a Metal Gear game.
Yeah, so I'm seeing, obviously, here's the life cycle of this game. Kojima leaves, everybody's mad at Konami, everybody hates Konami worst company, whatever. Konami starts doing things, or Konami reveals Metal Gear Survive, everybody hates it, it's the worst thing in the world, blah, 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 which I agree with. Then we get the Konami trying to kind of make people happy. They're like, hey, here's a Bomberman for the Switch, and we're putting in Castlevania and Silent Hill characters, and we're you know, they're...
Here's a Castlevania anime.
Yeah, they seem like they're being nice guy Konami, you know? And we're like, oh, that's strange. So then people are like, give it a chance. Now, this is how it molded into, give it a chance, that, you know, see how it is. And then every person that I have seen that has early access to the game and who has played the game is like, man, this is a cash grab of a game. What a mediocre zombie, like, they built some zombie AI and they used the Metal Gear engine.
Yeah,
and
this game looks like trash.
They put the name on it. There's some cool things that it does, I'll admit, like the building. There's some cool like building things that you can do and stuff like that.
Stuff in games.
But they lock it all behind finding materials, and they don't like guide you to the materials very well, and you're stuck until you get those particular things, and you're constantly losing health because you're hungry and all this stuff. And
like when I'm actually playing video games.
Yeah, man. I would not support this game, like, personally, ever. But man, this game, I'm very interested to see how this sells and the actual reviews when they come out. Is this like do you remember that Biohazard game? You might not. I think it was just called Biohazard or Umbrella
Corp.
Yeah, that game.
Oh my god.
Oh, what a bad cash grab of a game.
I've seen like 10 hours of that gameplay, but that's only because my favorite streamer played it, and he's one of those, like, he knows how bad it is.
Oh, it's horrible.
But he was having fun with it, and he was really good at it. So anytime you're good at a game, it helps.
Yeah, it's because the only people playing it were people whose parents bought them that game, and they're like, I don't have another game. I can't buy things or return things by myself, so here I am. Age of Empires Definitive Edition, PC, coming February 20th.
Good game.
We have Pac-Man Championship Edition 2 Plus coming to the Switch. Those are awesome. The Pac-Man Championship stuff, that's cool.
It's a long name.
Yes. We have Stellaris Apocalypse, PC, coming February 22nd. We have Pass Cure, PS4, Xbox One, PC, coming February 23rd. Jeez.
23rd.
Listen, man.
Yeah, we almost made it. Come on.
We did. We got one more game. Can I pull it off? No, because I don't know how. We've got Yoom Nikki Dream Diary coming to the PC on February 23rd. And that is it.
Waiting.
And then we got some spicy DLC characters.
And then we got Blanca and the Turtles officially come out for everybody.
Yeah, both
right?
on Tuesday.
February 20th, well,
yeah,
that makes sense. This one was.
And I think a Shonen Jump magazine.
I don't like where this conversation's going.
It's for Dragon Ball. Released, I guess, actual information that Bardock, a.k.a. Goku's dad, and Brawly are the first two that are going to be released for DLC.
So, question. Are they
do you know how a bunch of DLC characters kind of leaked? They like data mine them.
Yeah.
Were those part of the data mine?
Yes.
Okay. I don't want to go too far into it because I don't want to like ruin it for people who might not want to know that.
Mhm.
I will say a correction from last week. I never looked at the Kingdom Hearts leaks because I didn't want to know the worlds, and I went and looked at the Monsters Inc. ones now because Monsters Inc.'s officially revealed.
Yeah.
He was in a monster form in those. I said that he was like normal. He did have like a monster form to him, but it looked different. It was like different colors and stuff like that. So I was wrong about that. So that was absolutely a accurate leak, which scares me because somebody leaked all of the worlds, and I don't want to know them. Though
that's like part of the fun of the game.
Yeah, though there is some figurines that got announced, and it's got like Sora and his different like outfits that he
Disney's
gets
terrible
because
about
of those.
that. I mean, even with like Star Wars and stuff like that, you know people. And
Man,
what they
who's
look
this
like.
all red guard? What is he going to be cool in the new Star Wars? And he's got outfits from some worlds that I'm very excited about. So
that's cool.
We'll see about that, but. Anyway, that's it for this episode of the Press X Podcast. If you enjoyed it or you want to be part of the show, be sure to leave a comment down below. Thank you for being here, Todd.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for being here, Nick.
Resident Evil 2 announcement incoming.
Thank you so much for watching. We'll speak with you next time.
If you say it each week, eventually it'll happen.
That's true.
Until it's 2019.
That's true.
I'm so excited about that.
Yeah, me too, man.
But not as excited as I am about the Turtles.
2019, Gex, the trilogy.
Oh my god. If they brought Gex back,
I'd be happy.
I would lose my mind.
That's what I think of. I know it's not exactly the same, but every time I see that Geico lizard...
dude, my other knee just did it. Oh, God.
Sounds like you need some McDonald's.
Sounds like you need surgery.